Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. About World War III, uh, I think it was a very long time when humanity didn't have conflicts on the earth. Perhaps more than 10,000 years ago, there was a time when there was no conflict on earth between any beings, because those beings were not poisoned, because the nature of those beings were not mixed with other natures, which also need to have their own natures with them, so they can live their own lives. So when it comes to wars, what I like to say is this is not World War III, this is World War, let's say, probably there was a year, in every year there was a war, so World War 12,692-96. So this is all comes down to, the wars, they all come down to medical conditions. Illnesses, sicknesses, then injuries or injuries, disabilities of all types, different types, compared to what would, someone would consider, okay, this living being is actually healthy. This living being is doing well energetically, physically, as well as psychologically. Accordingly, its original nature, his or hers, when it comes to humans. Uh, that's all I can say. It all comes down to health conditions. When problems, things that are not normal, things that are not aligning with human nature or human rights, they mean exactly the same. And there are only 30 human rights. They are interconnected, they are interlinked, they can only support each other. There is no one without the other. They are all based on respect, complete respect towards one human to another firstly, no matter what. At least do your best. Everybody has a human soul, no matter what. That's for sure, that's guaranteed. Those beings who don't look like humans anymore, that's pretty much exactly, there are spiritual qualities what are missing from them to actually become humans again. That's the animal race. For those to sustain those spiritual qualities again, of course, their physiology needs to be supported, as well as their psychology. Then they will transform back to humans. Now, all of that could happen in a matter of seconds, or microseconds or macroseconds, but all of that could happen in a matter of days, weeks, months, years. It's all been figured out. What I see is, if there is no conflict in a being, because its original nature, according to the purposes of the organs as well as their functionalities, were, were concerned and being kept well in mind. Uh, you know, if, as long as there are no internal issues, misalignments, detoxifications, I'm talking about pollutions right now. I'm not talking about something what makes the body numb or calm or cleaning it. I'm not talking about that. That's not pollution. That's a sedative. That's relaxant. And that's normal. Your natural way of being is being relaxed. All living beings would agree. Life does not hurry, but yet it gets everything accomplished. That was a quotation from someone's. It is someone's. This sage came through someone else. Maybe Paulo or Coelho or something like his name. So what I'm trying to say is, it is the truth. Living will mean loving towards life, towards living, because love is the energy of life. Love when it comes to caring for each other, as simply as one humans are caring for another, according to human rights, honestly, kindly, as much as it is possible. Remember, if there is no problem, then there is not a problem. If there is no problem, and I know every living being would agree with that too. But the question is, who will actually be able to live up to this message that when there is no problem, that it is not a problem when there is no problem. Who would be capable of living up to this uh, completely normal wish, desire, how about lifestyle, belief, the meaning of this message. And there is no problem, that's not a problem. And even when there is a problem, that means it is out of our world, it is out of human world. So it appears to be offensive, and of course it is. If it's out of human nature, it will not be able to be good for human nature if it does not have human nature. Think about it. So if it fits because it is belonging there, then yes, okay. Now what human nature means? Human nature means we are not offensive towards, especially towards anything or anyone what is not offensive. We don't provoke. We don't bully. We don't harm for profit or for any animalistic reasons. These are all animalistic reasons, nothing to do with human nature. So the reason why people are getting harmed again is because there is harm going through them. So it's not humans, it's not human nature which is harming. Even if the human soul is already poisoned, which is obvious, you can tell on the psychology. You can also tell it on the physiology. You can tell When the physiology is injured, especially when it comes to genetic injuries, because there was a pollution, a poison, something what was really, really toxic, really acidic, and acidifying natured, which caused, of course, the acidification, perhaps this alkaline design that the human biological system. Now that chronological effect could be repaired very, very easily. Imagine if the animals could be repaired, the chronologically genealogic injuries could be repaired. Can you imagine that kind of what do you call that, poisonous situation when something actually transforms to be an animal? First it will have to be rotten, and then it will become and then as soon as it will becomes after rottening, and when it starts alkalizing again, because the earth is alive, so it will keep everything alive as much as it is possible for the vibrations to actually live with formations accordingly how about of the planet. The relationship, also the relationships between the elements, the elements like your elements inside of you, and as well as the relationship between the elements under of you or around you, will determine gravity. How is that relationship is like? It is aligning, then will be a good alignment, there will be more attractiveness. And there will be alignment, there will be natural attractiveness without any issues. For alignments between humans, we will need to be well, energetically, physically, as well as psychologically. Accordingly, the 4 plus 1 main element in order 4 plus 1 main base. Look around you, your fingers. Yeah, your organs which impair, but also there are singular ones. Look around. It's everything is exactly the same, in the same category of nature, by quality of nature, in the entire universe. So if we, let's say, if we could heal the gut of our human siblings simply by creating more flavorful as well as only human life supportive foods for our humankind. Every culture has their own amazingly healthy, nutrient rich plant food. Most of the times they are raw plants. We used to eat them just like that. They call it a Swedish table when you have certain selections just spread around you, and then you go in there, you grab whatever it feels like. And then you, after that, you mangiare. Like, there comes the feast. You eat. You eat with lots of with a good appetite, with a high spirit up. Your spirit is up when you actually consuming something which is good for you, as well as it's really flavorful. You can choose, so you choose your flavors. Let's say all the flavors are there, all the raw plants, all the heat treated ones too, cooked, baked, fried, everything. And then now you can choose. Imagine that world. And in this world, there is a good chef for everything, really. everybody knows how to prepare food, which is really good for us in a way, but others would be like, wow, you know, you prepare mine, you know someone who can prepare yours, or perhaps I prepare yours. Easy peasy. Human relationships are truly the best. We don't need any animalistic natures to get along. Actually, it's the opposite. Actually, for us, it is the opposite. For them, it is kind of natural to live separately and be very careful about, who's the neighbor, because one could be a predator, another one could be something else, like something that is not a predator. Usually, that's what it comes down to. When it comes to humans, it's a different story. Humans are just humans. For us, it's normal to live together, to come together, spend time together in a way when it is mutually satisfying. Remember that. Mutually satisfying relationships, creating the memories which are keeping us alive, gives us power, gives us learning lessons which are actually good learning lessons, be happily learned lessons to stay well. So this is how easy it is. When it comes to living, it is actually simple. There is no complications in it. When it comes to living, when it comes to loving, when it comes to caring for life, especially human life. So what I would suggest is to heal humans' guts. The human gut shares a stronger nervous and blood-related vital connection with the brain as well as with the heart and with any other organs. Those are the gut, the stomach, as well as including the stomach, what goes in the stomach. The stomach needs to liquefy everything, alkalize as well as liquefy everything, just to put it through little pipe like this, which is in a circle like this. It's about this big, I think, maybe maximum.